sigh. I sigh. D. McClung, Arctur Monologues. Is it just me? Or I'm sorry, I'm speechless for the moment. Anti-Trump, pro-Hillary protesters around the country are like, tens of thousands of people are like protesting in the streets, marching, rioting, being violent. Wasn't one of the questions in the debates, as I recall, one of the questions was, Mr. Trump, will you accept the results of the election? And people were like outraged. I mean, I remember an episode of, the heck's that guy's name? Oberman? One of those lunatics. People think I'm a lunatic. Ah! I mean, that guy was just out of fucking control. Oberman. That's just one. But wasn't that the question? And didn't Mr. Trump say, maybe? I think I also heard him say, and this, I'll just try to quote it. Quote, I'm still kind of like out of it. I can't figure this out. There's something wrong here. Seriously. I mean, rioting in the fucking streets over an election that a man hasn't even actually taken office yet? And, it can't be the Donald Trump people because, if it was, wouldn't people be saying that it was? But it isn't, apparently. No, things like, no, hell no, and, he's not our president, blah, 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 or whatever. And, I think we need to pause and give this some thought. I'm talking rioting in the street, violence. I mean, like destruction of property and beating people up. I mean, huh? Are you fucking kidding me? Does that not tell you something about America? When tens of thousands of people are acting like freaking raving lunatics? And I thought Mr. Trump was a lunatic. Wasn't Donald's answer to that question, we'll just have to wait and see. We'll just have to see how it goes. We'll just, it depends. And of course, I heard him say something like, well, if I don't win, if I lose, I might have to question the results. Well, just between you, me, and the fence post, he didn't lose, so I guess that's not relevant anymore, is it? Did he actually? He actually won. The electoral college votes were like, pretty decisive there. What was it, 288? To Hillary's 215 or something like that? And the popular vote. I think he won the popular vote too. Now, I could be mistaken. I haven't seen the latest numbers, but the last time I saw numbers, it was like 51 plus million to what, 49 plus million? Um, that's. I think that tells us he didn't win the popular vote either. I mean, he did. He did. Oh, I made a mistake. I said, he did win both, 51 million to 49 million. I think that's pretty clear, obvious. 51 to 49. Let me think. 51 is more than 49, so I'm guessing he won the popular vote. Okay. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe they've changed the figures. Maybe they've doctored the figures. Who knows what they've done? They're crazy people anyway. So, I'm thinking, yeah, and he did, and he did, and he did. And he won, and he's now going to be the president. And that's just it. That's it. Unless, of course, tens of thousands of people were protesting in the streets and rioting and hurting people and damaging property and beating people up. And God, what if somebody actually dies as a result of all of this madness? But on the other hand, it heartens me to see people, actually doing something. No matter what it is. If you get tens of thousands of people to march in the street and protest against something, then it shows us that the people are actually willing to do something. Like walk around the street. And they feel strongly. And they feel strongly enough to actually become insane. Because if you're marching in the street and at the same time, not just, if you're just marching in the street, okay, fine. But if you're actually marching in the street and being violent and calling for violence and condoning violence and being a part of violence, like rioting and tearing up people's property and busting windows and shit and looting or whatever, and beating people up, dragging people out of their cars and beating them up. Now, I saw one case, or heard of one case about that, and I'm thinking maybe that was because the people that were beating up this guy and yelling things like, you voted for Trump, you voted for Trump. And how do they know that? I want to know, unless he said that. And did they ask him before they beat him up? And drug him out of his car and beat him up and stole his car? There's a clue in that. If these people beat this guy up and stole his car, I'm thinking that was not about Trump or the election. That was about some thieves doing a carjacking. So I don't think you can put that in the category of anti-Bush, anti-Trump, protesters. I just doesn't make any sense. Why would civilized people do that? Steal a car? What part of they stole his car after they beat him up? What part of that, in any way, shape, or form, reminds you of, the election? That's just a carjacking with violence. That's just really obvious that that's totally unrelated to the election of Donald Trump. These are some thugs, and they stole a car, and they beat a guy up. So we're calling that assault and battery, and felony car jacking. What is that? Felony auto theft. So I don't think that particular story floats when it comes down to this is about Donald Trump winning the election. I think these were just some thugs who saw an opportunity to just, steal a car, be assholes, and thugs, bullies, thieves. So, as far as the beating up the guy and stealing his car is concerned, and I'm assuming that happened, I read it in the news. It's got to be true, right? Well, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But if it did, let's just say it did, it has nothing to do with Donald Trump winning the election. I know I'm being redundant now, but what I'm saying is, in this case, that scenario, that one right there, where some people beat up a guy, drag him out of his car, beat him up, and then stole his car. Then that's just a simple case of some thugs stealing a car. That's it. Don't read anything else into it. That's just it. They're thieves. They're the thugs. They committed battery on a guy and assault. Two different things, by the way. Assault is just saying, "I'm going to beat you up," and standing there in front of the guy, dragging him out of his car. Okay, what I'm trying to say is assault is a word that's very commonly used today, but it doesn't mean that, folks. It doesn't mean beating people up. Because beating people up is battery, and that's what the word is. That's the right word. That's the legal term. So, and I realize that, the mind benders of the Matrix have changed all the meanings of the words around a little bit, I mean, after all, Title 18 of the U.S. Code actually codified the word child, and for the first time in American history, has made the word child a legal term meaning a minor. In other words, they're interchangeable. You can say minor, you can say child, both mean the same thing, someone under 18 years of age. Wrong. But at any rate, now child means, like in the income tax law, which states the meaning of the word person, a legal term. Doesn't mean the same thing as me saying to you, I'm a person, you're a person. That means a real human being. When the government uses the word person, as far as the income tax is concerned, it means a corporation. So, who would have thought that the word person would ever mean anything but a human being? An individual, human being. Real live, breathing human being. But no, the government is required, by the way, if the government uses a word uses it differently with a different meaning than the dictionary meaning, then they're required to do that. Put it into law itself and say, for the purposes of the income tax, the word person means, a legal term means a corporation. And it does say that. So, when it comes to the income tax, the IRS, the word person doesn't mean a human being. It means, in the law, it means, because it was defined in the law, which is required. Is this too complicated for you? Should I rephrase that in a different way? I don't really know any other way. That's just the way it is. That's the truth. I've just spoken a true statement. It's in there. If you don't believe me, go to Title 26. Look it up. It's in there. You can get the entire U.S. You can get the law in regards to income tax on the internet. I mean, I've been to that website many, many times. I've read it, done some research, as I say, and it says for the purposes of the income tax, the word person is now a legal term that means, I'll repeat that, a legal term that means, for legal purposes, as far as the IRS and the government of the country is concerned, the word person means a corporation. Well, I'm not a corporation. I doubt if you are. If you're listening to me, you're actually a real person, a real life, living, breathing person, human being kind of person. You're not you're not a Title 26 person because you're not a corporation. But according to the law, the income tax law, a person is a corporation. So this is like totally contradictory in terms, in definitions, like two different definitions. One doesn't relate to the other. And if you think about the this case, what was it called? Citizens United or something like that. People have totally got that all skewed out of, just totally fucked that up. Because, what the law says and what's true and what's real and what's allowed to be said, and, laws are required to be constitutional. So anyway, this concept that, a person is a human being, and then according to the IRS law, a person is a corporation. So that's two different people. I mean, two different kinds of people. Well, two different kinds of things, because corporation is not a person. Well, it is according to the IRS law, which says person is corporation. It says a person is a corporation. And of course it says that, and I won't get into the whole tax dishonesty mode of the government. But that's Dave Champion's book, Income Tax: Shattering the Myths. Read it, get it, read it, consume it. Put it in your brain. Absorb it. Put all the crap you think you know about the IRS and the income tax and so on. Put that shit out of your head and read the book, Dave Champion's book, and fill your head with some important, truthful, honest, real things. Put the nonsense that the IRS is feeding you out of your mind, because it's garbage. It's garbage. Total fucking garbage. Anyway, rioting because the guy was elected. But like I said, it was like, will you accept the results of the election? And he said, well, yeah, if I win. Well, duh. So if he lost, would he have accepted the results? Well, if there was a lot of evidence of voter fraud and rigging of the election by Clinton and her gang of psychopaths and murdering big bastard motherfuckers, then yeah, I would question it too. Like, wait a minute. Something doesn't jive here. I got a lot of votes, and there's a discrepancy in this election process where I lost, because as if it's not possible he could have lost. Well, he could have, but he didn't. And so Hillary, of course, chimed in there and had to have her 2 cents worth and said something like, oh, that's just not good. That's like, we've always accepted the results of the elections and moved on, and like, no. Al Gore, by the way, that guy that didn't accept the results of the election, this is not going to be a hate feast on Al Gore, but I mean, back then I was going, yeah, you should object and protest against that. You should question the results of that election, because you probably won, Mr. Gore. But now that I know more about Mr. Gore, I'm thinking, you're kind of glad he didn't get elected, because talk about true lunatics. There was a lunatic for you. And hypocrite and a bunch of other nasty words. But anyway, so, don't tell me, it's un-American. Like Keith Olbermann, He's done. He's like un-American or something. So it makes it sound like if anyone objects to anything, on whatever grounds, if someone questions something, then they're what? Un-American, unpatriotic, anti-American, anti-freedom, whatever. That's just stupid. Sorry. It's just fucking stupid. Sort of like, here's your sign. Kindly staple that to your forehead. I'm stupid. You know? The sign says, I'm stupid. You staple it right to your forehead. So we'll all know that you're stupid. All right. So I think we have to consider the fact that Donald Trump apparently is not protesting at all. He's not questioning the results of the... He's accepted the results because he won. Would he have been so kind about it and so peaceful and everything if he had lost? You know. Don't know. Never will know because he didn't lose. So the people are rioting, protesting, beating people up, stealing cars. Well, you know, like I just said, stealing a car, you're a thug, has nothing to do with the election. You might call it just, it's just a cover-up. You know, it's just, let's make a lot of trouble, you know, in the politics of the world today and you know, make an issue a statement while we're beating up this poor guy just because we want to steal his car. But we'll just say it's because he voted for Donald Trump, which is bullshit. Because number one, how do they know he voted for anyone? And unless he told them, and if he did, so. By the way, I didn't vote for Donald Trump and didn't vote for Hillary, so you know, draw your own conclusions. And surprise, surprise, he actually still won. That's another thing. You know, you got these statistics of people saying well, shit. Hold on. Okay. I'm not going to comment on what happened there. Something happened, and I got distracted, and so I'll continue with a new sentence with a capital letter at the beginning. You know, like English. So I'm thinking, who didn't accept the results of the election? Perhaps Hillary's people? You know, those fucking lunatics that voted for her? I've seen things on the internet, like Facebook, for example, and people are saying, if you voted for Trump, you can defriend me. Because I don't want you on my page. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want you putting on my... I don't want you even around me anywhere near me. Just go fuck yourself. If you vote for Donald Trump, defriend me, because I think you're voting for Donald Trump. I'm going to defriend you. Well, that's just stupid. A lot of stupid shit going on today. A lot of stupid shit going on in this country right now. And a lot of different reasons. I mean, a lot of examples. I could give you a list of, stupid shit. Well, crazy shit. So I think probably we need to consider this. Now, do you think that Donald Trump actually orchestrated these riots and these protests just to show that, I didn't cause them, but secretly I did because I wanted to create the impression that Hillary Clinton people are, criminals, thugs, and stuff like that? I don't think Donald Trump will do that. I just don't see the point. No, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying not likely, because there's no reason for it. Why would he protest himself being elected? That's just stupid. But we see a lot of Hillary people who apparently don't accept the results of the election. Well, now, tells you something, doesn't it? In the question of, Donald or Hillary, which one would you accept the results of the election? And Donald Trump says, we'll have to wait and see if it was rigged or not. I mean, if I suspect there was some fraudulent criminal acts going on that caused me to lose, sort of like Bernie Sanders lost the nomination for the Democratic Party because Hillary and her minions rigged the frickin' primaries in the convention. I think this is pretty much a settled fact at this point. She did. Well, she was involved, if nothing else, and which makes her, a fucking felon. Why aren't they protesting against that? Why did you let... In fact, before the election even, why weren't tens of thousands of people marching in the streets saying, Hillary is a criminal. Hillary is a criminal. She can't be a president. She can't run for president because criminals can't run for president. Blah 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 blah. You know, or something like along those lines. But no, they didn't. Come on. I mean, come on. Use some common sense here, for Christ's sake. Rioting and protesting and beating people up and shit. Because, why? Oh, because, duh. It boggles the mind. But you can think clearly. If you set your mind to it, you can actually think clearly. Apparently, the Hillary people didn't accept the results of the election. But their leader, Le Feu, the fascist Nazi bitch, traitor, liar, murderer, mass murderer, crimes against humanity person. Why aren't they protesting? Why aren't they demanding that Hillary now be arrested? Held accountable for her crimes. Yeah? Why none of that? Why no protests against her being allowed to run for president in the first place? A little late now for that kind of protest, but how come they weren't doing it for the past year? You know, people saying, no. Maybe because people who voted for Trump or favor Hillary, you know, being hanged by the neck till dead for treasons and high crimes and misdemeanors and shit. Oh, did I mention rigging the election? Now, maybe she thought better of rigging the actual voting election part, but she certainly rigged the convention part. She had something to do with it. She was a part of it. I guarantee you she was. She condoned it. She allowed it. And it was pretty much done in her name. So, just saying. So, if you're rioting right now and protesting Donald Trump's election, and, you know, bless your heart, you have the right to freedom of speech. Not really a whole lot. I mean, you know, it's not completely free speech because there are a lot of things that you were, if you were to say them, would get you beat up, maybe murdered, maybe put in prison, and maybe defended. But that's just stupid, people. Freedom of speech. Yeah, but you don't have the right to riot and, you know, destroy property just because you're like a fucking idiot. Oh, I guess we'd have to say maybe they are idiots because they're doing it. So I'm going to say this straight out, blunt, straight out, plain English. If you're one of those people protesting and rioting and beating up people and stealing their cars or whatever, then sorry, but you're a bloomin' idiot. I'm guessing hypocrite. And you're not a good person. Sorry, you're just not. But I'm not going to defriend you because, hey, even you deserve to hear the truth now and then. And I give people the truth. And I express myself clearly and logically using English, which apparently a lot of Americans don't understand. Because, I think that word means something else. And, you know, and I hate to keep bringing up this word, but the word that starts with a P, that's another case of that. We're gonna, you know, use that word and misapply it and use it in the wrong sense and be totally wrong and stupid by saying that that person that's one of those is like, when it's not true. You know what word I'm talking about. So I'll put it this way: if you use the pedophile word, I'm defriending you and calling you bad names and shit because you're an idiot and illiterate and can't understand English, and you're probably talking babble and reading babble and being a general all around prick, stupid person. Or stupid prick, whichever. So anyway, I mean, come on. Get an education, learn how to speak English. Understand that the words mean what they mean. Except when the government changes the meaning of the word in a law like that applies to the income tax, it doesn't necessarily apply to anything else. It's a legal term now. Person. But it still means what it means in regards to common usage, like me saying to you, hey, it means this, and it does. So, just say it. Had to get that off my chest. I think I've addressed it appropriately and correctly and accurately, and pretty much it's not my opinion, it's a critical analytic observation of human beings doing what they do. I'm talking about the protests and riots and stuff and stopping traffic in California and stuff. In Chicago, we got different, it's just, these people are freaking lunatics. But I'm glad to see somebody doing something, like walking down the street or throwing rocks through some windows. Glad to see that, because it means that the people actually did something. However wrong it was, and however false was their belief and their notions in regards to the reason they're doing that. And then, but what I question is, why aren't you doing it about other things that are really, really terrible? Like, this is my pet peeve here, is dress codes in schools, for example. How come American people are not protesting and marching? And no, I'm just saying this because the other people are doing it, but I don't really mean, I don't advocate it and I don't condone it, but, how come you're not protesting dress codes? How come you're not, rioting in the streets over dress codes? Oh, it's just a minor problem, it's not important, and it doesn't matter, and dress codes are good anyway. Except for the fact that they're not. They're criminal. They're illegal. Dress codes are against the law of freedom. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? You don't have dress codes in a free society. It's just not done. But nobody's protesting that, except for me. And I'm just confused here. What the hell? I'm seriously, people. Want to protest something? Protest the fucking dress codes in schools. Better yet, not just protest. Refuse to obey them because they're invalid. Can't be done. No, they can't tell you what to wear and how to dress. They can't. Nobody can. That's you. You decide. You don't want to wear this. You don't want to wear that. You want to wear this. You want to wear that. But arresting people for wearing a T-shirt because it has like the NRA on it, or a picture of a gun, or middle finger pointed at all of you frickin' moron, asshole, pond scum idiots that, bullies, tyrants. So I'm just saying, think about it. That's my view, that's my observation, and it's my calculated, logical conclusion that there's something really wrong with this picture. And they're blaming Donald Trump for winning the election. Oh, excuse me, I think that was his idea. And to be honest with you, I think it's going to be interesting for the next 4 years. Maybe interesting in a bad way, but still. We'll just have to wait and see what happens, as Mr. Trump says. All right. That's just, it's just bizarre. The world is crazy. Americans have gone mad. They've been mad for a long time. I mean, like insane, delusional. They believe in mythological nonsense. A lot of them believe in mythological nonsense, which is like really tells me something about that person. They're not smart. They're retarded. They're stupid. All of those words are valid words. They mean exactly what they mean, and like retarded is like a clinical word that is used to be in the manual for diagnosing mental illness and shit, and those that are lacking even the average IQ. I mean, if you're like believe in mythological nonsense, I'm sorry, but it's nonsense, and you believe it, you're delusional, which is insanity. And the other one is you're not smart, because smart people don't believe in stupid shit. I mean truly smart people. I don't mean like pretend smart people, or maybe a little bit above average people, but I know people 115 IQ, which is just barely above average or normal. Now I don't even want to use the word normal. And they believe stupid shit. So, duh. Alright, I'm going to stop here in a few minutes because I'm running short on time. I might have to increase my broadcast time to 3 hours. Yes. Then I'd truly never get anything done. I'd be talking on the radio 24/7. Anyhow, well, I could now even, because I can post as many episodes of my show as I want. Alright. Okay. Enough with the riots and the protests and the freaking weird shit going on. I hope. Well, I just wish they'd stop. It's just stupid. Alright? But it's okay to protest. I'm not saying it's not alright to protest. It's a tradition, and we should protest things that we believe to be wrong, or illegal, or insane. And don't see too many people protesting and rioting and beating people up to steal their cars when it comes to, say, Title 18 of the U.S. Code, which is like totally fucking insane and illegal and unconstitutional and stupid and ridiculous. But that's what happens when you allow a fascist police state to exist in your country. When you allow people like Hillary to get away with murder. How about some counter protests, like about tens of thousands, if not millions of people protesting, the income tax, which is not legally being applied properly. It's just, freaking IRS is robbing you. Oh, did not mention there's no law making us normal, non-incorporated individuals liable for income tax. That's just true. That's a fact. That's a law. That's what it says. Read it. It's in there. Or get Dave Champion's book and read that instead, which I strongly recommend. 2 thumbs up. Alright, I'll talk to you in a little bit. I'll be posting this sometime today. And if you're reading it, then I post it. I mean, if you're listening to it, then it's been posted. It's also available on YouTube and so on. Alright, talk to you later.